Hello and what is up, plant community? So, today on Ficus Week, I figured we'd take time and talk about a ficus species, a ficus tree that most people have in different ranges and different forms, really different variegations. But today we're going to talk about the rubber tree. The ficus, or ficus burgundy. This is rubber tree burgundy. He was saved. I saved him from the little store. You can see they kind of damaged him a bit, but you know what? That's okay. He's going to grow. He's going to grow to be in a beautiful tree. So, how they are most commonly grown is nurseries will produce cuttings. And when they produce cuttings, this is a way of propagation. So, that way you can have two of the same trees. So, this guy, I'm guaranteeing you, is more than likely a propagation. And, the most common way you see these guys grown is you see them grown in more of a shrub form, or you see them grown with just one single stem where the leaves just keep on going. My goal is to get this guy about over my head. Then I'm gonna snip this part right there. And when I do that, what's going to happen is it's going to branch. But I have a long ways to go before that. Anyways, it's ficus burgundy. Let's talk about potential care. So, I fertilize once every 2 weeks, especially during the summer, because that's when your ficus trees are growing the most. I've heard of people putting them in direct sunlight for about 6 hours, and no more than that. Especially if it comes down to like your ficus ruby. I had a ficus ruby, did do so good with it. I also had another variegated form. But I decided to go with this particular species instead. Mainly because I just wasn't doing well with them. It seemed like they demanded more light than, say, maybe what the burgundy would. But anywho, the ficus, this is a ficus tree. You can get them to grow in the normal trees. You could find them like the weeping figs, but they're more commonly grown into bush forms than they are, sorry about that, there's a bus over there, but they are more grown into shrub forms or just one single stem. And it's kind of hard to find them where they look like the ficus trees, where they have one stem and then they let branch from that one little area. Let's see here. I fertilize once every 2 weeks on this guy during the summer, because of course it is the growing season. I keep them pretty moist. The way you know your ficus will need water is their leaves will start to droop like that. They'll just droop and droop until they just shrivel up and die. It's definitely important to keep them moist, especially when you're starting them as cuttings. You definitely want to keep them moist. The best rooting way I found for ficus, if you want to do it in a cheap and efficient way, is just get some distilled water and they'll eventually root. I have this guy in shade right now, but I am eventually going to move him to where he does get about 6 hours of light or more. Well, not really more, I mean less, sorry about that. And that should definitely encourage his growth to be a little bit more faster and grow a little bit stronger than what he currently is now. Inside, if you're just going to grow them inside and not take them outside, I say you can definitely put them in a window where they get direct sun. Besides some of your variegated species, on that one you might want to pull back. I think the burgundy will be perfectly fine with it, especially if you get more of the normal growing rubber trees that are just all green. No real immense color to them. The burgundy is the most commonly found ficus tree to grow. You'll find them in offices and things like that rather than what you would the rubber tree taniki or the ruby rubber tree. Like I said, keep him fairly moist. He's kind of dry right now. I'll go in and water him a bit more so that way he can stay moist, especially when they're cuttings like that, because like I said, when they're cuttings, they're basically just a seedling and they're very vulnerable. Inside, I think they can take a little bit of medium light. I feel like they could take a little bit of medium light, but they won't grow as fast. They'll actually grow faster for you if you give them more of the direct sun in the window. Even giving them just morning sun, I say, will be perfectly fine for them. Other than that, I think that's really about it on that guy on care. Of course, like most plants, whenever they're ready to be repotted, roots will come out of the bottom of the pot, and then you can go ahead and repot this particular species of tree. But other than that, just like most of your species of ficus tree, they are slow to root in the pot, especially if you ain't got more of the shrub or bush-like forms. So this guy's going to be a while in this pot before he's ready to actually be into another pot. Other than that, I say that's really about it. Hold on a minute. Okay, sorry about that, guys. But, anyways, yeah, of course, when you bring them outside, sorry about that. When you bring them outside, give them shade for about a week, 7 days. Then you can move them into a little bit of direct sun or dampened light. Just make sure it's only 6 hours of light. Anything more, I feel like you can easily just burn this guy. There might be areas where people have put them in areas where they can receive direct sun. It just really depends on your area. Of course, you can test it for yourself and see how it does. I know in my area, my region of the world, Indiana, the sun, the UVB rays can be quite intense here, and when you get these UVB rays, it can scorch a lot of things. It's going to be important to not scorch this guy and keep him going. Again, otherwise than that, winter care is fairly the same. Keep it by a bright window. You know, you might have to move and rearrange things during the winter because the sun changes directions, and sorry, there's a fly flying by my ear. But, you know, keep it humid in your area, not so humid in your room where you're growing mold. But if you have to, just give them a spray bottle. I say, just like most ficuses, they could take down into 60 degrees, but you definitely don't want to go any more colder than that. Any more colder will kill them. Only give them distilled water, no water from the tap. Of course, I've heard of people giving their plants waters from the tap, which means their water is just more clean and doesn't have all the chemicals like my water does. Check your water if you just want to water from the tap. My water isn't so great. It has chlorine, chloride, etc. It has salts, and it just hurts plants. So I guess it's beneficial to look into what they put into your water. You know, I just automatically assume that, hey, if it's not good for my plants, what's it doing to me? Type of ordeal. Other than that, just keep them misted. Of course, inside, wipe down their leaves. It's going to be important on every and any plant to wipe down their leaf, because if not, all that dust collects up on the leaf and they can no longer photosynthesize, because the dust will get too thick on their leaves eventually, and they can't produce any new growth. Definitely not frost resistant. Leave them outside and frost hits them, they're done. That's the end of them. They're a tropical tree for sure. Otherwise than that, that's really about all I have for you. That's about it on this care video on the rubber tree or ficus tree. I will probably continue this week of ficus care, since again nobody's really voted on it in the last couple of videos, and so we'll just continue this week of ficus. Next week I will probably talk about the saberleaf ficus, as that is a new ficus species that somebody gave to me, a friend. I appreciate that friend, and hopefully that will root for me and I will have a ficus tree. I'll be right back. I need to give an update on some cuttings. Alright, and we're back, and so I'm going to give some updates on some cuttings. So, looks like this cutting of ficus ginseng is starting to form roots. See these little bulges here? So roots starting to form. Let's see what else we got. Oh, well, we got some roots on this guy for sure. This guy definitely needs to be potted up. And my friend recently gave me this. It's just a small little cutting. Sorry, I thought I seen some little, can't see, there we go. Thought I see some growth there, but it's not growth. I think that's just where a leaf fell off. We're getting some roots. We're definitely getting some roots. So that's always good. Want to thank my friend and one of my subscribers for giving me this cutting. It's really doing good. It's doing awesome. And of course, this saberleaf ficus is doing, well, that definitely did help. It's, it'll get better. I just got it today, so I definitely gotta thank my friend on this beautiful specimen right there. And, hopefully I get it to, grow into something that will be quite a stunner. Not if it keeps falling now. That's the only issue. Alright. Gotta repot this guy back up. We're gonna take this guy. I'm probably gonna pot him, to be honest. Put that guy back in the propagation chamber. Let his roots get a little bit bigger. So that's the update on my cuttings that are starting to produce. That is all I have for you today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, like if you really like my content, and subscribe. That's all I got. Thank you guys, and hopefully we'll get an update on this saberleaf ficus, and hopefully it will produce roots, which it should, and hopefully I'll have a beautiful saberleaf ficus to add to my ficus collection and eventually do a video on for Ficus Week. That is all. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, like, share, and subscribe. It helps me. It helps me get out there more. It helps me educate people on plants. Thank you. And have a good rest of the day.